Thank you everybody for coming. My name is Justin Pearson. I am a managing attorney at the Institute for Justice. My last name is spelled P-E-A-R-S-O-N. With me here is my colleague, Allison Daniel. She's also an attorney at the Institute for Justice. And we have our client, Ken Leininger, who is the plaintiff in today's lawsuit. He's also the owner of Ken's Cab, the other plaintiff. And we're joined by Chris Burks of the Sanford law firm here in town, who has agreed to be our local counsel for this case. And so what we will do is I will speak briefly about the Institute for Justice and the types of cases we file. Then Allison will tell you about the case which we filed this morning. Ken will also speak very briefly, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. The Institute for Justice is the national law firm for liberty. Our headquarters are in Arlington, Virginia, and we have 7 offices around the country. What we do is provide free legal assistance to individuals whose constitutional rights have been violated. And we do that in 4 key areas of constitutional law: property rights, free speech, school choice, and economic liberty. Today we are here to discuss economic liberty, which is the right to earn an honest living without arbitrary government interference. Unfortunately, this is a right that is often under attack today in America, and nowhere is that more true than in the transportation industry. In fact, the Institute for Justice has filed numerous cases challenging barriers to competition around the country involving the transportation industry. I can tell you that I have never seen a barrier to competition in the transportation industry as extreme as the one here in Little Rock. Little Rock only has 1 taxi company, and it is illegal to start a second one. That's outrageous. It is also unconstitutional. These barriers to competition violate at least 3 different sections of the Arkansas Constitution. And that's why we are proud to have filed this lawsuit this morning on behalf of Ken and his small business. At this time, I would like to turn things over to Allison Daniel, who will tell you more about the lawsuit. Allison?
My name is Allison Daniel. I'm an attorney at the Institute for Justice. My last name is spelled D-A-N-I-E-L. The reason for filing this lawsuit is simple. Little Rock has only 1 taxi company, and it's illegal to start a second one. The city's protection of a taxi monopoly violates the Arkansas Constitution's prohibition on monopolies and guarantees of due process and equal protection. The Arkansas Constitution, in Article 2, Section 19, states that monopolies are contrary to the genius of a republic and shall not be allowed. The Little Rock Board of Directors, however, has admitted to protecting a monopoly for the only company in town, Yellow Cab. Now, Ken, our client, with his company Ken's Cab, simply wants to provide safe, reliable, and environmentally friendly transportation for the city of Little Rock. The Board of Directors, however, refuses to grant him his permits because of a public convenience and necessity requirement, a requirement that exists solely to protect the monopoly of Yellow Cab. Now, the government should not be Yellow Cab's henchmen, doing what's best for Yellow Cab rather than the people of Little Rock. This requirement directly harms the people of Little Rock by destroying economic opportunity and job creation and denying consumer choice. And we filed this lawsuit this morning to vindicate Ken's rights under the Arkansas Constitution to operate free from protectionist, arbitrary, and irrational government regulation. And now, our client, Ken Leininger, to tell you more about his story.
My name's Ken Leininger. I started Ken's Cab about a year ago. Prior to that, I was a Yellow Cab driver for over 8 years. The people in Little Rock should be able to choose which taxi service they want to use. Ken's Cab is a great choice because we offer friendly service in relatively new cars, which are hybrid vehicles. So they're low emissions and they're great for the environment. Thank you.
Thank you. And so now at this time, we would be happy to answer any questions anyone might have. Okay, thank you all very much. Oh, please, go ahead.
You said that you've been operating up a year ago. How did that work out? Were you operating and the city came to shut you down? Or?
Sure. So the question is, if I may, Ken, the question is, how Ken arrived at this point, how he was operating, how he was shut down. Ken, if you could come to the microphone and provide a quick answer.
Yeah. I started out with a Little Rock or a North Little Rock business license. and applied pretty soon after getting started for a Little Rock license. So basically, my business has been mostly in the surrounding areas, North Little Rock and the surrounding towns, and intended to get that license, but it hasn't been granted.
Okay.
When y'all were researching this case, how long has that been in place where you can't have another cab company,
Basically for decades. And so what happened, and by the way, is my sound coming through? Okay. So basically what happened is many years ago, Yellow Cab absorbed all the other cab companies and then convinced the board of directors to create this barrier to competition. It's been in place for a very long time because obviously it's difficult to take on both a giant behemoth like Yellow Cab and City Hall at the same time. And so I want to applaud Ken for having the courage to do so. And as you might imagine, Ken was shocked and disappointed when the board of directors admitted that they had a monopoly, and yet when Yellow Cab asked them to do so, the board of directors decided to uphold the monopoly and reject Ken's application, even though he meets all the other requirements. Any additional questions? Okay, thank you all for coming.